Welcome back, everybody. This is the weekly podcast episode. This week, we thought it would be fun to kind of take a look back at 2023 and review some of the best games, TV shows, movies that came out, and then also kind of look forward to 2024 and talk about what's coming out this year and what we're excited about. So I'll go ahead and get us started. We're just going to dive into movies and talk about some movies that we love from 2023. And when I think about movies from 2023, the number one movie that jumps into my mind is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. For me, that was just like amazing. Like it was a cinematic journey, like going to theaters, seeing the art style, hearing the music. I went and saw it in theaters like 3 or 4 times. And it was super cool. But I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on Spider-Man. If you liked Across the Spider-Verse or some other movies. I mean, notable movies that came out. We had Mario Bros. Movie came out this past year, which was awesome. As well, we had Barbie and Oppenheimer, which was kind of a fun cultural thing when we had Barbenheimer going on. You know, the boys were pulling up to see both of them. So plus, you know, Indiana Jones, Gran Turismo. There's some other good ones, but what do you boys think?
I mean, Spider-Man was awesome. I thought, as being a long time Spider-Man fan, I just loved the way that they captured it. I mean, I loved the first one, right? Into the Spider-Verse was awesome. It was the first movie that kind of took that comic aspect, right, for Spider-Man and kind of turned it into this fun little thing. And this next movie was actually the same thing, right? Where it just picked up from the where it left off and had so many cool experiences with the vast Spider-Man, right? Because that is one thing that Marvel does is their dimensions and all the alternate versions of it. But I really loved it. And the music, like you were saying, the music was amazing in the first one, and then in the second one just took it and kept on going. So I think those are probably the alternate versions of the music were probably like my favorite aspects of that movie.
Yeah, I think
That's sick.
Spider-Man stole the show this year. I haven't seen some of the movies you listed. Barbie was pretty good. It had a few problems in my mind, but Spider-Man just was like, yeah, cinematic masterpiece. I was hooked for 2.5 hours or whatever, however long it was, and I was super sad to see that it actually wasn't the end, or we are supposed to get a part three now or whatever. I don't know, but definitely my favorite. It's probably my favorite universe for Spider-Man right now. I didn't grow up on the animated
Interesting.
stuff. I played the video games as a kid. I don't love the Tom Holland stuff. I was more of a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. So that this was it. There's Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, right? No Way Home is
Mhm.
probably my favorite of those three, just because it has
Yeah.
the Andrew Garfield and the Tobey Maguire. But yeah, I love what they're doing with Spider-Verse. The music Lucas already talked about, but yeah, ultimately
Metro
definitely my favorite
Boomin,
movie of
bro.
the year. Yeah, Metro
Metro
Boomin is
Metro.
Yeah.
awesome.
No, top notch, top notch. And I agree. I think like you're saying, Lucas, like Sony like really leaned in on that one to like the whole multiverse aspect of it. And like the voice actors were amazing, the art style was amazing, and the soundtrack was just fire. So I think that for sure takes the cake. But did you ever see the Mario Bros movie, Jason? Or still on the watch list?
Still on the list.
That's good.
Because that
It's
one
pretty good.
that was a fun one. That one had a lot of
Yeah.
nostalgia. Like you know, maybe there's people that like it, people that hate it. I think Chris Pratt killed it, and there was a lot of callbacks to the originals, and not just callbacks to Mario, but to other Nintendo games, which was pretty
Yeah.
fun. So
Okay. Okay.
um,
Well, maybe we'll have to watch it. I'm
maybe,
open to that. I'm not against
yeah,
seeing. I just haven't.
yeah. So, anyways, I think that's kind of 2023 for me. Maybe we throw it forward. I think Lucas, you want to talk about 2024, some movies that are coming out this year?
Yeah, so 2024 is kind of there's actually a few movies coming out that are going to be pretty sick, but I think the one that I'm most excited for, and I mean we've unfortunately Jason hasn't seen it yet, the first movie, but I know that you and I, Jake, have actually really enjoyed this movie, but Dune Part 2 is coming out
Oh yeah,
and comes out March 1st, which is here in just
nice.
a couple months, and that's going to be super exciting. And I mean, I just love it just based off the trailer, seeing kind of like the big names, come back, Josh Brolin, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler. Um, We get
What about the main character? You didn't even say the main character's name.
yeah, well, I'm
Yeah, bro,
saying
dude. Timothy
Timothy
Chalamet and
yeah,
Zendaya,
Timothy
bro.
Chalamet and Zendaya. They're like the OGs, but these are like, Josh Brolin was
New
back then, but
characters.
we kind of just didn't we just assumed that he died in the first one. Spoiler alert. Um,
Whoa,
but
whoa, whoa! I don't
I
even
mean,
need
if
to
you
watch
watch
the
the
movie now.
trailer, if you watch the trailer, anyways, but it was cool because it just kind of brought back, and I mean, the trailer was sick because you see Paul, or Timothy Chalamet and his character, where you see him kind of like taking on his role as as kind of like the prophetic, like chosen one of the wasteland. And so, what I don't know if you guys saw the trailer or anything, but what are your thoughts on it?
Dude, I'm pumped for it. I like honestly, the first movie was good. I liked Dune, but like it felt like 3 hours of like a setup for the next movie. Like when you think about it, like I and speaking without too many spoilers for Jason here, like it felt like it was teeing up more, right? So I'm excited because I think now they've had this build up, they've introduced you to the characters and they've set up the storyline. And like you're saying, Timothy Chalamet now is stepping into this role. He's with the Fremen. He's like working with them. I think it's got potential to just be a crazy movie. So, and like you said, bringing back those big name actors and then adding a bunch of people to that star-studded list, right? I'm pretty pumped for it. So,
Yeah. And it's cool too because there's only two parts, right? So we're not gonna have like a
mm,
saga. It's only supposed to be like everything's supposed to conclude at this next point.
hmm,
Well, and
didn't
here's
know
a
that.
question for y'all: I honestly haven't read the book. I have nothing, no tie to this series. Well,
Hmm.
these two parts. What, or how I should say, we have like a few other shows coming right now they're from books. Like, what does it do well? Like the first one, did it do well with staying connected to the book? Did it branch out? Did people like that it went away from the book? Like, what's the synopsis there?
Honestly, I mean, I haven't read the book, so I couldn't tell you. I think like the most enjoyable aspect of it for me was I mean, it's a little weird, a little different in the sense of like, okay, they're in space. There's like all these different cultures and people and stuff, kind of like we see in like Star Wars or Star Trek, right? But like the cinematography in it was pretty cool. Like the different shots of like the planet, like it's a sand planet. We've talked about that on the show. I mean, we're not crazy
At
fans yet. Tatooine, all those places.
least in Star
But
Wars, Arrakis is pretty cool.
yeah, Arrakis is pretty cool. So like the planets are cool, the ships are interesting, like the action sequences were pretty sweet. So I think like if there's a movie to see in theaters, it was a really cool movie to see in theaters just with the cinematography and also the soundtrack was pretty cool. So that's what I
Yeah.
enjoyed the most about the first one.
Agreed. I think the world building was probably the biggest aspect for me, which is just it didn't feel like it was trying to copy other sci-fi. It was just kind of trying to be its own thing, you know? And it's
Mhm.
cool too because they're like you'll see it in the trailer as well. Like there's these big, massive like space like desert worms, right? And they're a danger. Like they're like super dangerous and they have to kind of like go around it. But to the Fremen, that's kind of like a part of like their religion and stuff. And so it's cool because it's like we've seen that before in media, but it wasn't like a huge point. It's like, oh, this is just part of it, you know? And it's cool because they're actually pretty baller.
Mhm.
So, but that is what I'm excited for, at least movie wise in 2024. So we'll just kick it to TV shows now.
All right, so last year we had some pretty big TV shows. Obviously, we're all Star Wars fans. We had a couple of those. Before we jump into those, I wanted to mention this past year I watched The Big Bang Theory. I know that came out like 5 years ago, um, but that was kind of my show of the year, and I freaking loved it. Recommend it to anyone. Obviously, it's like a top 10 all-time show according to a lot of sites and reviews and that kind of stuff. It did really well in its time, and so hoping to start Young Sheldon this next year. They're coming out with a new season of that, final season actually. But um, yeah, that I'll be getting to that soon, and just wanted to give it a little shout out. But in all honesty, guys, I think 2023 was for me was Star Wars oriented. We started off in January with Bad Batch season 2, which is what I want to talk about today. Ahsoka obviously came out in the fall. and we already did a review series for that. So if you're, wanting to hear more about that, you can check that out. But I want to talk about Bad Batch season 2. I think it was freaking awesome. Out of the 16 episodes, I felt like we got at least 10 that were, story driven and progressed, the universe how we wanted it to be progressed. And we got new planets, new conflict, new resolution, and I really liked it for the most part. Definitely some S tier content in there, and let's see what you guys think.
Yeah, man. I think season two, like the character development they gave to a lot of the clones was amazing. I think, they're these highly specialized clones that have these abilities, right? But in like some areas where they have abilities, they're kind of lacking in others. I think the biggest person that grew this season was Tech, right? And of course, it would be Star Wars to like give us that character growth, make us love the character more, and then, crush our souls and take them away from us, right?
Yeah.
So, but that scene will be epic, right? Like when he's hanging from the cable car and he's like, "Don't do it, Echo," or "Don't do it, Tech," and he's just like, "When have we ever followed orders?" And shoots the wire or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, oh, that was heart wrenching, but amazing. Again, really pleased with Bad Batch. Like you said, a lot of these TV shows that come out now have a ton of filler, but that was genuinely a show that I feel like, for the most part, each episode hit. We had the Zillow Beast finally. We had some cool looks at what's happening to the clones, kind of post war. And then again, we have some cool episodes with Cody, and we get to see Crosshair more. And yeah, all in all, great TV show. So I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it was kind of just going off what you guys said. The best thing about this new season is that there was less filler than the last one, right? It seemed like the season one was just like first episode was really good, and then it kind of just like slowed down a little bit and then picked back up. And this one, it just seemed like, there was occasionally, like I wasn't a huge fan of the racing episode, but um that one that one was all right. But the rest of it, like you were saying, it just gave so much more depth to the clones who we came to fall in love with in Clone Wars, where it was just like, oh, these guys are sick. These guys are awesome. But then it kind of gave them humanity. And in this new season, um, kind of just took that and pushed it a lot further, where it's like, oh, now these guys are getting replaced. Like they destroyed the cloning facility, so there's no more clones being made. They're kind of just waiting their turn till like to die, basically, right? The Empire is discarding them and all that stuff. And so um it's cool. It was cool to see what they did with, like, at least with Bad Batch, who are like they kind of always had that mind of their own, but they were trying to do what they knew best, right? Which was trying to help everyone and try to save everyone and kind of take care of each other. And so I thought that was cool. And yeah, that was, despite what rumors have been said, I do actually I do like Tech, and he's awesome. And um it was a heart-wrenching thing, and I was like, there's no way he's coming back from that, right? Which makes it so more real, right? Like he
Jason told me that you were happy when Tech died, bro.
He
uh,
was. He
that's why
was.
that's why I'm trying to
And
dispel those false
and
rumors,
guess what?
those
Lucas
false
has
prophecies.
yeah, he has
I was
pulled his head out.
heart-rending.
He's figured it out. That
I
Tech
was
was
I was
dead.
the reason they think that is because the episode when they're in the mines and Tech and
Omega.
Omega.
Omega, yeah, Omega have a heart-to-heart moment. I was like, this didn't really need to happen, but okay. Like I wasn't a huge fan of kind of that whole thing, but it was because
Mhm.
of that. They were just like, man, Lucas' heart is heartless and hates Tech. No, he was good.
Hey, and here's my thing is like we beefed with season 1 because there was so much filler, and maybe to them, to the writers, it wasn't filler because we had to get to know the characters, kind of like season 1 of Rebels.
It's
And
true.
I've come
And
back
season
to
one of Clone
love
Wars.
season 1 of Rebels. Yeah, season 1 of Clone Wars. But I felt like that the arcs in Clone Wars and Rebels that were used were driven for the overall purpose of the show, and then we learned to love the characters through that. Whereas Bad Batch season 1 was very much like, here's this micro adventure that doesn't affect anything ever, like at all,
Yeah.
and it's forcing this like ooh, this family on us that we're supposed to just immediately love. And I mean, it didn't start like that for anything. I mean, for any of the shows we've watched, it wasn't an immediate love. It was through the story, and I think season two really just drove the story. I'm gonna give a little shout out to Crosshair real quick before we transition, because you guys mentioned a few people that got some development like Tech. I think Crosshair is going to be the most interesting, character for this next season, as well as the Doctor. Doing all the cloning procedures. I
Yeah.
think he's just such a mystery right now, and I'm excited to see where Dave and the other writers go with it because there is so much potential still. I know Lucas is tired of this part of the Star Wars timeline, but this is my favorite part of the timeline. This pre-early Empire era. That's my favorite part, and so I know there's still so much they can do with it, and that's where I'm really looking forward to it. But again, this is the 2023 look back, so 2023 Bad Batch season 2 killed it. So
Yeah, I think moving forward, I mean, great kickoff moving into 2024. Hopefully we get Bad Batch season 3 at some point this year. Like you're saying, there's so many like questions left to answer, right? We need to see what's going on with the Doctor and with Omega. We kind of need that resolution with Crosshair and to see where things go. So I think that's definitely really high on the list for all of us. Looking at a couple other shows as well that have just been big and have been announced. I mean, the show is currently out right now, but they're still releasing some episodes. But they have the new Percy Jackson TV show on Disney Plus, which, big fan of the series growing up, read those books a bunch. Movies came out. They were a bit disappointing, maybe more than a bit disappointing. But, the TV show definitely follows the book a lot closer. And I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, there's things that I think you can do better in like a full motion picture, like in the budget of movies just can't be beat. So I think a lot of the action sequences and stuff in Percy Jackson, the TV show, are a little bit weak compared to the movies. But as far as the general storyline, I've enjoyed it so far, and it definitely pays a lot more tribute to the original. So that's a good one. Also, speaking of horribly made movies, probably the worst film adaptation of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? That movie was so bad. But, we're going to see if this year we get some redemption. We have the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out on Netflix this year. So, we'll see. Why, in my opinion, and I think it's kind of the group opinion here, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated TV show, is already perfect. Like, there's nothing that you can fix in that. So why would you remake it as a live action?
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
Okay, let's hear what you have to
Azula
say.
got slandered. Azula got slandered.
Nah, dude, she deserved it.
I
She
hate that
deserved what
ending.
came to her.
The comic
I'd
books
throw her
helped a
in
little
prison
bit,
again, bro.
but-
She's a
Throw her in
psycho,
prison.
bro.
Hey, prison's fine. It's the mental state that kills me. That's the part.
Yeah.
They drove her mad.
She
They drove her
snapped.
mad.
She snapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. I think I mean, it's kind of taking the new series is kind of taking an approach that I think, the main reason, obviously it's all money game, but at the same time too, maybe this will be a cool opportunity for people who aren't really into animated shows to get into something like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which in our opinion is, one of the greats as far as storytelling and TV shows go. And then the last big one, again, we focus a lot on a lot of Star Wars content. We also have the Acolyte that is scheduled to come out for this year, which, again, we don't know a ton about it, but it's kind of set in that High Republic, Old Republic era, and is focused more around the Sith and the dark side, which will be a fun take because I know, I mean, me and Lucas are like full Jedi, but, Jay Higgs likes the dark side. And so I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans that are pumped to see some dark side character development and kind of some, I don't know, some cooler Easter eggs and kind of lore laid out as far as that goes. So
Hey, Ahsoka's got me into wanting to be a little more of a dark Jedi kind of thing because that's kind of how I felt like I am more. But I agree. Let's hear some Sith story, some Sith lore.
I mean, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess now as we come close to the end of this. Just want to share my 2023 highlight in gaming. I thought there's a lot of good games that came out this year. Unfortunately, people are going to be like, yeah, Baldur's Gate You should like that's the game winner, right? I haven't played that yet, which I know I'm sad it's part of the backlog, but I think to be honest, 2023 video game was Tears of the Kingdom. I I mean I enjoyed Breath of the Wild so much, and um it was something that I just enjoyed just playing casually and just like for the story, right? I was immersed into the
Hmm.
story, but I could also that was such an easy game to jump in and then jump out of, right? It was like you can
Yeah.
do anything. And Tears of the Kingdom took that to another level and fixed my biggest gripe with Breath of the Wild, which was the expansive, like there was nothing in the expansive world of it, right? You had 90 side quests, um, which that was also part of the DLC. So DLC, you added more side quests, and after that, it was like nothing. So you could play Breath of the Wild, beat everything, and then just be like, it's the game where you can just set down. Um, and so I I was that when I was looking for the new for Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom came out and it fixed everything that I was thinking of. It made it expansive, it made it even bigger, added a lot more stuff you can do to it, added a whole bunch of things that you can collect and kind of interact with. And to me, I understand that Baldur's Gate, the thing with Baldur's Gate is the storytelling and less of the gameplay that it won it all the accolades that it received. But Tears of the Kingdom wins it for me. That was the game of the year for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that one too, and you know, I think you said it really well and kind of talked about a lot of those aspects. I think on top of the expansive nature of the world and the more side quests and all that too, like just the creativity that goes into that game, right? So much problem solving with Korok seeds, with shrines, um, and then on top of that, like the ultra hand ability, right? Like you could play this game for years and years and years, and it's like, okay, well now I'm going to build this new thing, or let me build this, you know? And so seeing the kind of the creativity there was really, really cool and was something that I liked about the game a lot. So
Yeah. I will say there is
Jason,
honorable
oh,
mentions. No,
go for
sorry,
it.
it's the honorable mentions Jedi Survivor and Spider-Man, but um those were also amazing games. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I just was gonna say I played Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok this year. I'd give that one a huge shout out. Obviously, it's a 2022 game. But yeah, Survivor and Spider-Man. I'm still in the middle of Tears of the Kingdom, so open world games are a little bit harder for me, but I'm learning to love them more. Um, but yeah, I completely respect your takes.
Yeah. So
And I am looking forward to play Baldur's Gate too. It is also almost off the backlog and into the current. So
let's
that's
go.
very interesting. You're gonna have to let me know so we can all Jake might have an Xbox by then. So then we can all play together. And
I'll be playing on PlayStation. I got a
get it up.
PlayStation.
So never mind.
It's not cross, by the way, FYI.
Oh well.
So,
Hmm.
anyways, well, let's look forward to 2024. Personally, I don't know tons of games coming out that I'm like overly excited for. There's that new, actually, first party PlayStation exclusive Rise of the Ronin made by Sony.
Hmm.
It's gonna be probably not the same as Ghost of Tsushima, but it's definitely gonna be similar as in you're a Ronin, you're a samurai kind of thing. It looks
Looks like
great. Comes out in
Sekiro.
March. Yeah, it's like a Sekiro. I don't know how the difficulty is going to be like compared to Sekiro because that's a Souls game, right? Um, but it does look like it's got a lot of potential. We're rumored in February. Obviously, every year Pokemon drops their February release. It's Pokemon Day, right? I think it's 228. I don't remember the date. I'm a casual, but that's when we heard about the
More than we do.
DLC for Pokemon Scarlet Violet. So they're rumoring right now the next game, which is the biggest rumor is going to be Black and White or Black and White 2, Black 2, White 2. There's rumors about Gen 2 remakes. There's rumors about, anything on the 3DS still that you can't get up to the Switch is all also a rumor, but Black and White is the number one rumor. We'll see what happens there. I'm obviously excited about that. The
Bro,
biggest game that
justice justice for Pokemon X and Y, bro. Let's get a remake of that. Get
well,
some Mega
hey,
Evolution back in here, bro. I was a
you'll
big
have to
fan
make
of
your
that.
case, man. One of these days, you'll have to make your case.
Yeah.
But the big game I was going to talk about, obviously, let's go back to Star Wars. They're coming out with Outlaws, big scoundrel game. First first Scoundrel game I'll probably have played. I think, right? Is there any other bigger? We don't have a date yet, I don't think, but it is going to be an open world Scoundrel Star Wars game where we are almost, I think we're doing a huge mission to overthrow something with the Empire. We don't really have much knowledge about it. Lucas, do you have any other info on it? I honestly haven't heard much other than I've seen like a basic trailer.
Yeah, I mean, other than just the trailer, from what I've heard, it looks like it's gonna be kind of like a almost like a GTA, like GTA mixed with Star Wars, but like very, very minimal GTA, right? Because there's gonna be a wanted system. So if you commit crimes and do all that stuff, like or crimes against the Empire, you'll have a wanted system and you'll have people sent after you.
So kind of like Red Dead 2, right?
Right, kind of like Red Dead, where it's like if you commit crimes, they're gonna have people on you. So yeah, honestly, I think that is a probably better description. It's like a Star Wars Red Dead.
Okay.
That's kind of the vibe I get too.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just from that trailer, right? I mean, I remember some sand, some dustiness, kind of like
Yeah.
Wild West kind of vibe,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And hey, I need to stand up for Desert Planets a little bit. I don't think we hate Desert Planets. I think it was just the repetition back to back to back. I think that was
Definitely.
where we got our beef with it. But yeah. Also, I need some clarification. GTA 6 is 2025, right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
believe
Because
so.
I didn't want to get called out, for not mentioning that game, which is apparently going to break the internet. So
Yeah, everyone's trying to stay alive for it. That was the biggest thing I saw.
Yeah. Drive home safe, boys. We got to stay alive for GTA 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
gosh.
honestly, I mean, we do have a lot to look forward to. I think all the consoles, especially Xbox, is trying to pull their heads out, figure out how to make an exclusive game or a game that that
People
can
wanna
bring
play.
Xbox back on the map. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
all the people that I know that have an Xbox that play Xbox exclusively, they're playing like Fortnite and Rocket League. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
that's
strictly
nothing
multiplayer.
special. That's nothing special.
Yeah.
So I think Xbox is really, they've bought a few studios. I don't know if you guys just saw the direct, but Hellblade 2 comes out in May, and that game looks dope.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be playing the first one before that one comes out because that game looked sweet. PlayStation, there's a couple other games I think on the rise. Nintendo's, they just dropped Tears of the Kingdom. That thing's going to keep them afloat for years to come. Years to come.
Yeah.
But they have got a couple games. Nintendo just really announced the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake from the GameCube. They've announced the 3DS remake of Luigi's Mansion 2. They got a new Peach game where Peach is the protagonist. And then they got the Mario vs. Donkey Kong Classic on the Game Boy Advanced SP. I played that as a kid. I'm excited to see how that one gets, how that one turns out. I might end up buying that one. But we also just got a couple, what do you call it? They got Metroid Prime last year, remake. Wouldn't shock me if Prime 4 is on the horizon and we get another remake for Metroid Prime 2. Maybe the third one. Everything's up in the air still.
Yeah, we've been waiting a long time for Prime 4. That's all I'll say. Every time there's an announcement, we're like, dude, maybe it'll be Metroid Prime 4 because I don't know. I've only played the original Metroid Prime on GameCube, and it was sweet. So I would love a new game to come out on Switch or something so I could play that some more. So
yeah. Well, and we didn't mention this for last year, but Mario Kart's DLC pack ended. And so I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Mario Kart. There's the huge rumor in 2024 that the new Switch is coming out. So, we'll have to stay tuned for that, but it wouldn't shock me if a new Super Smash or a new iconic Mario game, they just came out with Wonder, obviously. But there's always that on the horizon with this new Switch. They're probably going to drop it with a big title game. So,
which I'd be excited for because the last Mario game that came out on Switch was Odyssey, right? Obviously you've had Mario, you've had Mario RPG, you've had some Luigi games, they've done a ton of remakes, but it would be cool if we got a next level title that was Galaxy or Galaxy 2, Super Mario Sunshine, 64, Odyssey, right? If we got another Mario game,
Mario 64 too.
So I would rage quit. I've
Boom
been playing,
camera.
dude. I have been playing Super Mario Sunshine, and even the upgrade from 64 to Sunshine has been insane. Like, I
It's so
actually
bad.
enjoy playing Super Mario Sunshine instead of just wanting to die when I turn on 64. I
Oh,
cannot
man.
stand that game. I'm at 35
Uh,
stars, be it known. I'm still progressing in
Attaboy.
64.
It's
Yeah,
because you need
but
one of
I'm like,
these, dude. You need one of these. This is
oh,
how you
I don't
play
know if that would
Mario
help.
64, bro.
I respect the classics, but I don't know if that would help.
Stick to Sunshine, bro. I didn't grow up on
Yeah,
anything older than a GameCube, so
yeah, that was my
Sunshine's
first
a
Cool,
console
great
bro.
as
place to
well.
start.
So yeah,
It is. It is. That's no judgment for me. I
Hey,
was
hey,
an N64 baby.
while you trudge through Mario 64, I'll trudge through Zelda Wind Waker, bro. I'll
dude,
There you go.
what an experience, bro! I'm so
It's a
excited.
great
Honestly,
game.
like,
It's a
and
great
looking
game.
forward to the next, like, if they come out with a new Switch, right? You're talking about releasing with new titles. The next Legend of Zelda game will be really interesting to see what it is, right? Because we had Breath of the Wild, and then we had Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, right? And like, I don't think that they would make a third installment in the series, right? Like, I think that it's going to be another kind of reboot, like, hey, let's make a new Legend of Zelda game. And I would love to see them go back to a linear storyline in kind of a open world kind of feel, like we had in Wind Waker, like we had in Ocarina of
Ocarina
Time,
of
Twilight
Time.
Princess, right? Like these excellent Legend of Zelda games. I'm excited for you to play those because I think you're going to enjoy those more than kind of the open world aspect of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the
Agreed.
Kingdom.
Yeah.
So, but it will
yeah.
be fun to watch you play it. Watching Jason play Legend of Zelda is a vibe. So,
Yeah, dude. We're gonna play Majora's
If
Mask too. That
if
one
it
was
wasn't such a
stressful.
cancer to stream on Nintendo Switch, I'd probably stream it. But it is literally cancer streaming on Nintendo. Maybe that's what
it's
they're
tough.
fixing with the new model. Maybe they're gonna make it like more
Maybe.
of a streamable device because they want more people to, share their content.
Yeah. I mean, I would be like talking about that. I would love for Nintendo, like they're always looking towards the future and trying to do something innovative. Obviously, 64, GameCube, Wii U, which was basically just like the precursor to Switch, right? Switch is like what Wii U should have been. Like I would love for them to go back to a classic console gaming. Like leave us the Switch as the handheld portable console, but like let's go back. Like let's build a high power game, like a high power console, like Xbox, like PlayStation, that we can just crank some sick games on.
That's
I don't know
true.
if it'll happen, but I think it
It
would be
won't
really cool.
happen.
Yeah,
I'll
especially if
bre-
it's going to
I'll
be
I'll break the
Switch
news to you
2.
right now. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
break it to you right now.
Dude, who knows? Maybe after the Switch 2, they could
after
do that.
Switch
Because
2, right?
can you imagine Ocarina of
2035.
Time like in Ocarina of Time with like mega HD graphics, like Ultra HD, like
Be cool.
4K? That would
I've
be,
seen the YouTube videos.
Unreal Engine. Like, can you imagine that being a
Yeah.
standard for Nintendo? That would be kind of crazy because Nintendo's always known to be kind of like the all about their gameplay and less about their graphics sort of thing, and then they kind of just do their own style, right? Whereas
Mhm.
PlayStation and Xbox are like, how real can we make this look, right? And I wonder if Nintendo gets on that bus, like what could they do with that, right? That would be kind of cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's all speculation. We'll see. Let's hope that we get an announcement soon so we can actually make a good take on it or see what actually happens, right?
True.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, I didn't get to say a comment on Jake's 2024 TV shows, but I get that the Percy Jackson movies were not that great, but don't slander my girl like that. All right.
Yeah.
Post another
No, I
pic of
mean,
Jason and Alexandra.
dude, loved. I actually loved the casting for the movie. Were they way too old? Yeah, they were. But I mean, Logan Lerman, Alexandra Daddario, man, like I liked them. They were cool.
Yeah, they were good. They did
No
good.
slander to your girl, bro.
I appreciate it. Appreciate
Very
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't got anything else to add. We're super pumped to see what comes here in 2024.
Yep.
As far as the channel goes, we're hoping to keep the pods rolling and get some more content out there. But make sure to like and comment, subscribe. It helps a bunch, and we'll just keep on trying to do what we do. All right.
All right.
Well,
Catch
we'll
y'all
catch
on
you
the
guys in
flip
the
side.
next one.
Later.